in our own bodies, we see that there are corrections that take place, but those corrections also, it depends on when in your lifetime something's happening or all those things. But we don't know how that, I mean, from my point of view, I think that it will help to have more information on the characteristics of the language.
See, nature is definitely self-regulating and self-preserving until the point that the organism loses the capacity. So that's what the cancer is. So beyond a point, when there's the cancer, that capacity has been lost. So in a sense, you have moved out of the, you are not tapping into, if to the intelligence of nature effectively anymore. The connection has not, well, it's never completely severed, but and the body, that process is going to still try to do its best, right? But its functioning has been impaired,
That's
right?
actually what makes cancer worse. It's not the cancer itself, it's the information, like the the communication lines get distorted, so your body trying to handle the cancer, it can't really understand what, like, the communication's blocked or something happens, and in that, it the metastatization or whatever process, like, it's trying to fix something, but the natural process, like, overproduces one thing or underproduces something, and then um it, it just snowballs from there. But yeah, that's a really interesting quandary that I trust. I trust the system to be like, if it was modeled after nature, it wouldn't get to the point where the entire system collapses from one anomaly. Like, there's, I mean, if there's been countless anomalies since the beginning of time, and we're still here. So I think we'd be okay.
um I was, yeah, and it made me think of another aspect, right? Because now when we give this example, I started thinking of the idea of source code. So I think that the thing is, this case is when we say the cancer, and somewhere it's also, this is the other part that I think OD is comes into the picture, is we can't purely treat it as source code, because the hardware has to be sound, right, as well. The source code is very important. The operating system, right, is only going to function if the hardware is right. So in that sense, any language of intelligence has to take the complete physical organism and all of that into account. And I'm not saying that you're not doing that,
No,
but I
deep,
think,
deep. From what I understood, and Odi can set both of us correct if we are wrong. Odi, the system that Odi is relating to does not have any hardware. It does not function in a hardware scenario. So you've got to read his paper to understand it.
yes, I do have to do that.
No. So Mohammed and Deep, no. You guys are both. You guys, no. Deep is correct, and Mohammed. I think it's more about the fact that it's domain agnostic, meaning that it's applicable regardless of whatever the system is, regardless of whether it's a biological system or a rock. This abstraction, it would explain how these systems emerge, interact, and evolve with other systems in nature. So you guys are both correct.
And I would say that I would, in that sense, tend to agree with Awesome, in the sense that, like I said, I think that, because Odi, what you're saying to me, this is kind of like, it's sort of like, um you're trying to find the core operating archetype of nature, assuming, right? Like Muhammad, what you say is God, for instance, is, so the core operating archetype, And I agree with Awesome. What I was saying is, in the sense that I believe that an exact formulation of that, I consider that in a way an impossibility. But like I said, that does not mean, right? That does not mean we are going to. It's one of those. It's like limit x tends to infinity, right? It's a. So can you ever reach infinity? You know, not really. But then that's it. But you're getting closer and closer and closer. So, and in that sense, I what I am seeing is, and I have to still read this. I'm definitely going to, but what I see is that this, from from whatever I've heard from you, the assumptions that you're making and the theory of it, to me sound is very, very sound, because it has to be any such language, or it has to be agnostic of the medium, because it cannot be medium based. It has to be something which is core, and which is basically not dependent on anything else. It has to be completely, it has no, it cannot be dependent on, it cannot have any assumptions, it cannot have any dependence, cannot have any prerequisites, etc., etc. And I think, I just think that it's fucking I think it's fascinating to attempt something like that. That and why I also, the other thing that I will state also is, Muhammad, why I also uh, say that is because, if, let us say, even the not completed mathematics of it is can be used in some ways, then I tend to think that the current danger of what is happening with the binary AI mode, and the kind of power and importance and it's being given, is a far more that's a surely dangerous to me. That is like we are all already walking on down that road, because what it is, because it is ignoring nature. So any kind of something which brings in the language of nature and can maybe even counteract that to some level, you know counteract, I mean that, be become more fundamental and become something that can even tend to, let's say, show that listen, how AI is not, cannot be ever fundamental, or AI can never replicate nature. Because this is the thing, right? What you losing in that binary system is the chaos, is also infinite potentiality. And when we started from a premise that is already binary, it can never go beyond that. If the fundamentals are binary, they will never go beyond that. So what they are doing is, they will just throw away an infinite field of potentiality and complexity out of the picture, because you've already made certain assumptions to start going in that direction. But if you do that realizing the limitations already, then that's a different matter. Then you're on good, safe territory. Then it's a good territory to be on. But unfortunately, that's not the case, which is why, to me, this kind of thing is very refreshing, right? Because it's just so contrary to all the what I find, in fact, what you were referring to, Mohammed. And I get your concern, but for me, a lot of what most of what I hear, to me, is far more concerning than this to me seems to be rather a countermeasure to that movement.